Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Justina, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to discuss the main events happening in August 2024, and I'll tell you how they will influence your zodiac sign on a deeper level. So welcome. All right, so here this month we've got, I chose 4 important events, and I want to keep it simple, practical, and pretty short. So first of all, I'm going to look at the new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees of Leo. Then I'll discuss the influence of Mercury Retrograde, which starts also on the 4th of August until the 28th of August at in the sign of Virgo. It ends in the sign of Leo. We have Mars and Saturn square, the first square in this cycle, which started in April in the sign of Pisces. The first square will be in the sign of Gemini. The second square in this cycle will be in the sign of Sagittarius, and the opposition will be in Virgo. All right, so finally, the final event I will discuss today for each sign will be the full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees. So here with this full moon, it's a really erratic full moon because it is squaring Uranus in Taurus. So expect the unexpected here throughout in the second part of the month, without a doubt. But with Mercury retrograde here, it's a month to slow down, reassess, review, and readjust what is needed, what is necessary. All right, so let's start from the first sign, and this is Aries. All right, so hello, Aries, and welcome. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on August the 4th at 12 degrees of Leo. Have a look if you have any placements at around 12 degrees of a Leo or Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus, because this new moon will influence, impact, trigger these natal placements. Now here, a new moon in your 5th house could be about a new hobby, new project, new interest. This new moon will sextile both Jupiter and Mars. So there is a lot of motivation, optimism, and that positive vibe. Here with this 5th house activations could be about some positive experiences. Perhaps this could be about some fun outings, joyful moments. So with your children, with your romantic partner, perhaps you'll have this need to express yourself creatively, artistically in some way. It's a great time for doing so. For spending quality time with people that truly, truly matter. Now, as we move into the next event, I was going to say move forward, but actually on the same day, Mercury will station retrograde in Virgo, and this retrograde will continue in the sign of Leo until the 28th of August. This is your 6th and the 5th house is here activated. So basically during this retrograde, and we can say throughout August overall, you will be reassessing your daily routine, daily responsibilities. I think many Aries rising will be restructuring their daily lifestyle changes are on the horizons. It's a great chance for moving away from some old habits, old patterns, and for generally reinventing this area of your life. And here, pay attention to anything to do with paperwork, documents. It's not a good time for signing these. If you have to, you have to, but check the small print. Now, when it comes to your 5th house activation, this could be also when you might actually experience creative blockages sometimes. So don't be too harsh on yourself. Here, any projects connected to that require attention or critical thinking or analytical skills, these sort of projects will require extra effort, extra time. So don't then get discouraged if you don't get it right the first time around. Right now, for some areas, could be also when some ex-romantic partners might get back in touch with you as well during this time. You might be also reviewing your parenting style. Right, so here moving forward, between the 13th and the 18th of the month, we've got Mars and Saturn square. So here, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is the continuation of the cycle that started in April between Mars and Saturn. They keep recurring every 2 years. So here, this is the very first square of this cycle in the sign of Gemini. Now here, Just to confirm, this is happening at 17 degrees here, 17 degrees of Gemini, 17 degrees of Pisces. So Mars is in your third house and Saturn is in your 12th house. Now, here, apart from having this understanding where these planets are placed in your chart at the time of this square, it's also essential to know which house Saturn rules. Of course, Saturn is a career planet and it rules your career area of life. So here with Mars squaring Saturn, this gives us this immediate hint that this square could affect your work, could bring some either dissatisfaction or perhaps the feeling of feeling restricted, limited with a certain project energy related to your career growth development as well. Maybe this is about having to face some obstacles in your professional life, something generally that will require effort, something that could mean also that perhaps it could be some conflicting situation that will also make you slow down and think carefully. So this isn't the time to jump too quickly into conclusion, to make these rash decisions. Remember Mercury is retrograde, and that's also your ruler of the third house. So I think with Mercury being retrograde initially in the sixth house, ruling over your third, Mars and Saturn square, clearly there is something going on in the career area that needs your attention, that needs to be resolved with a careful and strategic planning as per that Saturn Capricorn energy. Saturn rules Capricorn. This is about being disciplined and patient, but also this is about using your time to reassess your long-term goals, hopes, and plans connected to your career growth and development. Now, here on the 19th, on the other hand, we've got a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. This is your area of the 11th house happening at 27 degrees. So here, the very late degree of a lunation of a full moon indicates that there is a matter, a situation that has reached its peak and needs to be resolved, needs a solution. This could be about your friends, a friendship. This could be about your involvement in a certain group activity, teamwork, or perhaps this could be connected to your goals, dreams, hopes, future goals more specifically. Now, if you think about what happened in your life last year, 2023, around January, February, end of January, beginning of February, because this is when the new moon in Aquarius occurred. So this is when something connected to friendships, long-term goals, group involvement would have been initiated. Here with the full moon, this is a time when you either move to the next stage with this project, idea, connection, or perhaps you letting go. See how it works out in your life. We've got a square to Uranus in Taurus, so generally expect the unexpected, go with the flow, be prepared for things taking a different turn, a different direction. So keep this day open and with an open mind, approach it with an open mind. All right, so here we go, Aries. Thank you very much. And let's move into Taurus. Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your horoscope, August 2024. All right, so we start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees. So here, the 4th is a very busy day because later in the day, Mercury will be retrograde as well in the sign of Virgo. But here with a new moon energy, a new moon is about new beginnings. This is when the sun and the moon align at the same degree in the same sign. So we start something new in your home sphere, in your family area. So here, your family home, your roots, where you come from, your emotional well-being. These are really, really emphasized at the time of this new moon. And we've got a beautiful sextile to both Jupiter and to Mars. So there is positivity in the air, positivity in the air. There is also that energizing energy that stimulates progress, that motivates you to move forward. So what this could mean for you is that this new moon could bring opportunities for home improvements, for bringing more comfort, stability, fun into your home area. I think many Taurians will be hosting a dinner party or some family gatherings. It's a fantastic time, actually, for having people around, for celebrating. There's a lot of playful, theatrical, childlike energy here. At the same time, maybe this is about taking the necessary steps to heal your inner child. This could be also very much the case, but overall here, this is all about bringing comfort, stability into your home area, new beginnings. So definitely take advantage of these energies if you feel like something is lacking in the emotional home family area of your life. Now, moving forward, we've got a Mercury retrograde from the 4th until the 28th of August. This retrograde starts here in the sign of Virgo, and then Mercury will move back into Leo. So here, this is your area of home here, yet again emphasized, but also initially your area of romance, creativity, children. Now, this could be when you might be reviewing, reassessing your relationship with your romantic partner, or perhaps your parenting style. Now, this is a great time for returning to projects that you started in the past, creative projects, hobbies, interests. Now, you might temporarily experience creative blockages, or perhaps generally you might need to dedicate a little bit more time when it comes to dealing with projects that require a lot of mental focus, a lot of attention to detail, analytical skills. Here, this very good energy is a little bit disrupted, and we need to implement a little bit more flexibility and patience within ourselves. At the same time, for some Taurians, this could be about reconnecting with ex-romantic partner or partners as well. When it comes to your home, which here will be from the second part of middle of August, here Mercury retrograde will shift into Leo. This is about taking a closer look at your home situation, bringing more comfort, more stability. Think about that new moon in Leo on the 4th of August. Maybe during the Mercury retrograde in Leo, you'll be reviewing, reassessing, and adjusting perhaps the goals that you set for your home, for your family dynamics around the new moon. But overall here, this is also about reconnecting with close ones and lots of healing energy. Emotional stability is usually really needed around this time. Now, any contracts, any paperwork documents, if you have to sign it during Mercury retrograde, which is not actually recommended, make sure you check the small print, make sure that you're satisfied with terms and conditions as well. Having said that, you might be also returning some home-related projects, and perhaps if you've been dissatisfied with your home situation, with family dynamics, it will come up and show up. It will be more evident overall during the retrograde phase of Mercury. All right, so we've got Mars and Saturn square between the 13th and the 18th. And what this means is that this is the first crucial trigger in this cycle that started in April between Mars and Saturn. These cycles roughly last 2 years. And this is the very first square. We'll have another square when Mars is in Sagittarius. So here, Mars is in your second house, and Saturn is in your 11th house. So Saturn also rules over your 9th house, so the area of self-growth, self-development, travel as well. So here, if you are going to be traveling between the 13th and the 18th of August, make sure that you're well prepared, that you leave early, that you're aware what is happening, because Mars and Saturn square could delay your trip, or perhaps something else could come up. And if you don't prepare in advance, or if you don't pack in advance, you might not have enough time to prepare fully or comfortably, because something might actually come up in the last minute. Maybe you have to leave early, maybe one of the coaches to the airport will be cancelled, and you'll have to catch an earlier train. So whatever it is, this is a time to be prepared for things to generally take a different turn. Flexibility, adaptability is really crucial, but also here, apart from your plans being disturbed, this could also mean that there could be also a disruption when it comes to higher education studies, if you are going to rewrite an exam or perhaps an assignment. This is also a time to make sure that you're aware of the deadlines that were set for your project. that you are generally aware of what's going on. Now, during this time, you might also perhaps question your purpose, your direction as well. This isn't a time to make any drastic changes, but rather maybe to go inwards and think deeply about what is it that you want to achieve moving forward, what step you need to take to achieve a certain goal objective. Now here on the 19th, on the other hand, we've got a full moon in the sign of Aquarius at 27 degrees, and this full moon connects to a cycle that started in late January, beginning of February 2023. So think about what happened in your life around that time. It will be significant, especially in your area of career and professional life, and the area overall of worldly achievements. Here, a full moon could mean that a situation connected to your career, outside world, professional life has reached its peak, and it's time to move into the next stage, let go, and perhaps move away from some old patterns and implement something fresh and new moving forward if you were to continue with this goal idea, whatever that you initiated around that new moon in Aquarius in January, February 2023. Here, this full moon will square Uranus in Taurus, so generally during this time, sudden or unexpected changes in your career could be very much the case, either through your own efforts or perhaps through external influences out of your control. So here, under that Aquarian energy, it's really important to embrace the change and to be open to new professional opportunities. If something suddenly ends around this full moon, don't shut yourself because something else could very well show up pretty much immediately. Here with Uranus in play, things happen suddenly, quickly, unexpectedly. Very often we don't expect these event situations to take place. They take us by surprise. That's why they are often surprising, but it doesn't mean that they are not necessary. So sometimes if we resist change over time, or if we are stuck in a certain situation, but we don't know how to get out from it, then here these squares with Uranus are really necessary for finally breaking away, finding that inner strength and alignment to get out of a situation that has been an ongoing issue, basically. All right, so here we go. Thank you very much, Taurians. I wish you a pleasant month, and let's look at Geminis. Hello, Geminis, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. So here we start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees of Leo. So here, new moons are about new beginnings. What do you want to initiate during this new moon? Here, your third house, something to do with communication, written or verbal projects, a podcast, a book, a website, a course of study. Perhaps you'll be signing new contracts. Bear in mind, Mercury will station retrograde on this day as well, so check the small print. Make sure that you're happy with the terms and conditions. Make sure that everything is clear, and if something isn't clear, then ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions and gain the clarity that you may lack. So overall here with the third house, this is generally because we've got also a sextile to Jupiter and Mars. And here these energies, this sextile brings opportunities, increased enthusiasm, positivity. It's a great time for traveling, short distance travel, for interacting with other people, for engaging in activities within your community, within your cell circle, for example. Now, here's also a great time for engaging in educational activities. So if you want to study something, if you want to start a new course of study, a short course, then this is a great time here for doing so. Now, also on the same day, Mercury will station retrograde, and here, I would suggest that if there is something that you wanted to study in the past, but perhaps you didn't have time, but now an opportunity has emerged, then this is yet again a great time for returning into ideas, goals from the past, since this Mercury retrograde happens on the day of the new moon. So you might be very well returning to objectives, goals, ideas that you once initiated in the past. So Mercury retrograde will start in the sign of Virgo and it will end in the sign of Leo. So here we will start with the fourth house activation, and then we will move into the third house where you will have an opportunity to revisit the goals, the ideas that you may have had on the 4th of August. So while Mercury retrograde occurs in the 4th house, you will be reviewing your living situation, your home and family dynamics. It's a really great time for finding more comfort, more stability, for returning in the home sphere, for returning to projects from the past, something that perhaps you don't have time to achieve or complete. Here with Mercury retrograde, it's a great time for dealing with these daily tasks, daily activities. And it's a great time for reorganizing your household as well, for decluttering. Fantastic time for doing so. Now, when Mercury moves into Leo in the second part of August, then here you might be reconnecting with people you haven't seen or contacted for quite some time. You might be revisiting places that you have been to in the past here. There could be opportunities for doing so as well. Or perhaps you'll be returning to books, movies, courses that you also purchased, but perhaps you didn't have a chance to review. So now, since Mercury will be retrograde in your 3rd house, Mercury is a chart ruler as well. Usually when Mercury is retrograde, very often Geminis go through a period of introspection, withdrawal, contemplation. So I think you might be also questioning your life purpose, your life direction. So take notes, and if you lack the clarity in this department, then write things down. Meditation is very helpful. Or perhaps affirmations. This sort of dynamics might be appeal to you over this period. Now, moving forward between the 13th and the 18th of August, we've got Mars and Saturn square. So this is the continuation of a cycle that started back in April. We had a conjunction between these two planets in Pisces, and then the first square is taking place in Gemini. The second will be in Sagittarius, and the opposition will be in Virgo. With Mars and Saturn square, think about what area of life Saturn rules in your chart, because this is very significant. Saturn rules your 8th house of transformation, joint resources, and finances. Where is Saturn in your chart at present? Saturn is in your 10th house of career, and Mars is in your 1st house. So I think this is a really important square since it's affecting such important areas of your life, your 1st, your 10th, so the angular houses, but also the area of transformation. I think that for many Geminis, this is a cycle of a transformation. For those dissatisfied with their life, with their career path more specifically, this is a chance for reinventing yourself on a really massive scale, because every time these squares and oppositions will come up in this 2 years cycle, activating these important areas of your life, here, whatever dissatisfaction there is with your inability to reach your goals and objectives, or any dissatisfaction with your lack of consistency or consistent growth in your career sphere, this is a chance for thinking deeply how you can turn things around and here make it a positive experience, make it an achievable goal. So what I would suggest is meditation, manifestation. Maybe think about your beliefs as well. Think about what is blocking your progress, what is blocking your ability to move forward to achieve your goals. It's a great opportunity here for transformation, without a doubt. This is a time to be disciplined. This is a time to engage in some healing activities, especially of any misconceptions you may have about yourself, about your potentials, about your abilities to achieve. Now, here, the final event for the month is a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees. So here this new moon connects to the full moon we had back in, I would say, end of January 2023, beginning of August 2023. So think about what happened, what you started with, you initiated in the area of the 9th house, so the area of self-growth, self-development, the area of higher education, travel, spirituality, astrology. What did you start around that time? Because here, this is significant to also gain a deeper understanding of what you might possibly expect to happen here this time around. Now, bear in mind, we've got a square to Uranus and Taurus, so expect the unexpected. There could be disruptions happening when it comes to your travel, when it comes to your perhaps your plans for the day, because we also have Mercury retrograde at this time in your third house. And we've got this full moon in your ninth house, squaring Uranus. So here there could be disruption when it comes to travel, or plans you might have for the day or for these couple of days. But I think this is full moon might also make you question your beliefs, your life philosophy, your life principles. Here, hidden issues of your subconscious patterns may also show up around this full moon. So this is about being adaptable, being prepared, being flexible when it comes to traveling and perhaps to your plans having to adjust or change during this time because things might take a different turn around this time. And if we are fixed in our mindset, unable to implement that flexibility, it might be difficult to deal with these Uranian energies. But you are a mutable sign, so hopefully that won't be the case for you. Thank you very much. And let's look at Cancers. Hello, Cancers, and welcome to your horoscope for the upcoming month, August 2024. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees. So here, a new moon occurs when the sun and the moon meet at the same degree in the same sign. So we start a brand new lunar cycle, and this is your second house, so your financial area of life is highlighted. Your business, your income situation, overall financial security and stability is highly emphasized around this time. Now, we've got a sextile to Jupiter and also a sextile to Mars, lots of supportive energy that brings enthusiasm, positivity in the air as well. So this could mean that you'll be starting or setting intentions in relation to your finances, to your income. Maybe this is about the upcoming new contract you'll be starting in the very near future, a side hustle. Maybe this is about the purchase of a certain object you've been saving up for. Whatever it is here, this is an ideal new moon for initiating something brand new in your area of money that could help you to create more stability, more consistency in this area of your life. So here, financial opportunities could be on the horizon, but at the same time, this could be also about perhaps you finding new ways to increase your monthly income, for instance. Now, at the same time, also on the 4th of August, we've got a Mercury retrograde starting on the 4th until the 28th of August. So here, the areas of life that will be triggered by this retrograde will be the area where Virgo is present. So that's your third house. And then Mercury in the second part of August, Mercury will move into your second house. So here, while Mercury is retrograde in Virgo, in the initial phase of this retrograde, this is when you might experience communication blockages, misunderstandings. So I think this is about communicating really clearly, openly, in order to avoid any misunderstandings. At the same time, check your junk box during the month of August overall, because you might receive an important email and it might end up in your junk box, and this could generally only create a frustration. So overall, if you're expecting an important letter or an email, then make sure that you check your junk box if you're experiencing any delays. At the same time, you might experience delays during this time because the third house also rules short distance travel. So generally, this is about being flexible, adaptable, because your plans might change. You might have to readjust your plans at some point in August. And here, with the third house activation, I think many Cancers will be reconnecting with people they haven't spoken to, they haven't heard from for quite some time. Having said that, this could be also a great time for returning to projects, courses that perhaps you started in the past, you didn't have a chance to complete. This is a great time for returning to them. Now, here when Mercury is retrograde in your second house, this is when you will be also reassessing your finances, your financial situation. Now, bear in mind that if you make any purchases during this Mercury retrograde, try to keep your receipts, especially if you're in two minds about a certain object, item, Keep your receipt in case you have to or want to return it. Now, there could be also potential delays when it comes to some new payments, but any payments that perhaps were delayed, overdue before this retrograde began, they might actually arrive during this retrograde phase. It's very often the case. All right, so moving forward between the 13th and the 18th of August, we've got Mars and Saturn square. So here, this cycle between Mars and Saturn started back in April, and this is the very first square in this cycle. We are going to have another square when Mars is in Sagittarius and an opposition when Mars is in Virgo. But here, this is the first major tense square in this 2 years cycle. So for you here, the area of life that is ruled by Saturn is, of course, your seventh house, so the house of contracts, relationships, partnerships. Saturn is currently transiting your ninth house, and Gemini rules your 12th house. So we've got a square between the 12th and the ninth house, with Saturn ruling over the seventh house. So here with Mars and Saturn square, Mars being in Gemini, I think there could be situations that could emerge that are connected to potential conflicts or tension in one-to-one unions, partnerships, connections. So here communication and compromise will be key around this time. Here with Mars and Saturn square, and let's not forget this cycle started in the sign of Pisces in the ninth house. There's clearly something that needs to be addressed when it comes to communication. I think communication and compromise are key in this cycle. This is generally a cycle that is about building relationships that are based on mutual respect. But at the same time, I think it's also about moving away from certain connections, habits that perhaps make you feel restricted or limited. I think this is about freeing yourself from also any misconceptions you may have about yourself, limiting beliefs, anything that is blocking your progress. Having said that, you might experience conflicts or tension in your one-to-one connections, relationships. Maybe this could be also related to a dissatisfaction with your work contract, which you might also have to address and maybe reassess. Bear in mind, this isn't a time to make any drastic decision from one day to another. Think things through. Saturn here in play wants you to proceed with caution. But at the same time, there's a lot of determination in the air. There's a lot of ambition in the air and that ability to get through whatever comes up around this time. Now, the final event for the month is a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees. Think about what happened in your life last year, end of January, beginning of February. This is when we had a new moon in Aquarius, and you may have started something fresh and brand new in your area of transformation, regeneration, joint and shared resources. Here, this full moon could bring a certain situation to the surface connected to the area of the eighth house, which I've just described: transformation, regeneration, death and rebirth energies, anything to do maybe with your mortgages, debts, investments, or some intimate or an intimate relationship more specifically. We've got a square to Uranus in Taurus happening around this time as well, and Taurus rules over your 11th house of friendships, groups, and long-term goals, hopes, and wishes. So we've got a full moon in Aquarius in your 8th house, squaring Uranus in Taurus in your 11th house. What this could mean is that you might be going through some unexpected, surprising financial development that would involve shared resources, shared finances. This could be also related to some transformative experiences within group dynamics. Maybe this is about moving away from a certain group connection in your life, prompting you to truly evaluate the groups that you belong to, your social circle, but also your long-term goals, hopes, plans, and dreams for the future. All right, so here we go. Thank you very much, Cancers, and I wish you a pleasant month, and let's move into Leos. Hello, Leos, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. So here we start with a new moon in your sign, in your first house, happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees. So here a new moon occurs when the sun and the moon meet at the same degree in the same sign. A great opportunity for you if we're starting something brand new connected to your identity, to your goals, personal objectives, your physical appearance, your style. So it's all about you, what you want and what intentions you want to set for yourself. So great time for investing in oneself, for setting intentions connected to your goals, hopes, dreams, wishes, and so on. Now we've got a beautiful sextile to Jupiter and Mars at this time as well. Lots of supportive energy that can really, really help you to move forward with any goals, objectives you might have. There's a surge of confidence and boost of energy that you get as well. So a really great time for thinking carefully and deeply, what is it that you want to achieve in this brand new cycle? Maybe you will be returning to some goals, objectives from the past unfulfilled, but perhaps they seem more realistic, more achievable at this point in your life. So overall, this is about embracing individuality and for following your personal goals, objectives as well. Now, bear in mind also on the same day, August the 4th, Mercury will station retrograde first in Virgo and then in Leo. This retrograde will end on August the 28th. So pretty much the whole of August will be under the influence of Mercury retrograde. So here, Mercury retrograde will start in your second house and then it will be in your first house. So while Mercury is in your second house, think about what was in your mind since Mercury entered a Virgo in those final days of July. Here, this is connected to your financial stability, financial security. Bear in mind, any new and fresh transactions during this retrograde phase might be slightly delayed, and any transactions that perhaps were overdue might suddenly arrive in your bank account, or perhaps any refunds. You might receive any refunds as well. Now here, this retrograde is really prompting you to think deeply about your finances, about your income situation, financial situation. So it's all about reviewing, reassessing any purchases that you do around this time. Make sure you keep the receipts, especially the purchases of object or items that perhaps you're not sure about. Perhaps if you're into mines, but you still buy it, keep the receipt in case you want to return it later when Mercury stations direct. Is very much the case very often when we buy something just spontaneously, but then we realize actually we don't really need it. And if we kept the receipt, we can return it, and if we didn't use the item, of course. Now here, so when Mercury moves into your first house, on the other hand, you'll be reviewing your goals, your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, and your objectives. It's a great time for returning into your intentions, your goals that you may have set for yourself around the new moon in Leo or on the 4th of August. But at the same time, I think many Leos will want to change their style, change their physical appearance as well. Here, proceed with caution. Sometimes we've got some crazy ideas when Mercury is retrograde, but when Mercury stations direct, we don't truly align with the ideas that we had throughout the retrograde phase, especially if they are connected to something completely new, something that just comes up out of the blue. Keep this in mind. Any contracts, anything to do with paperwork, also read everything carefully, especially the small print. For some Leos, the second part of August could play out in a way when you might experience some potential blockages when it comes to self-expression. So I think this is about being really well prepared if you're going to be presenting some important work, or if you're going to be having interviews. Prepare well for the unexpected, but at the same time, I think you will be also reconnecting with people you haven't seen, contacted for quite some time. Now here we've got Mars and Saturn square between the 13th and the 18th. It is exact on the 16th. Mars is at 17 degrees of Gemini at this time, and Saturn is at 17 degrees of Pisces. So this is a square between your 8th house and your 11th house. So Saturn rules over your 6th house as well. And whenever Saturn is triggered, it affects your Capricorn area of life as well. So I think this is a time when you will have to prioritize your health, your well-being. If you feel like you're about to burn out, or if you feel like you're working too hard, it's putting too much pressure on your health, then clearly your body is trying to send a message and trying to tell you that it's time to have a break, time to have a rest. Definitely keep this in mind. Look after your well-being during this time, because there could be a lot going on. There could be lots of work projects at this time, and you might actually forget to recharge yourself, to get enough sleep, to get enough rest, to eat healthily. So it's something to keep in mind during this time. But at the same time, there could be some potential challenges, delays when it comes to your work. When it comes to any deadlines you will be dealing with, you might feel overburdened with responsibilities. So here, rest and is really important. But at the same time, this is about being practical. It's about implementing practical solutions to any problems that might emerge around this time, especially problems related to your work environment, work and health balance, more specifically as well. Now here we've got a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th at 27 degrees of Aquarius. Think about what happened in your life around end of January, beginning of February 2023. This is when this cycle began. So that's your seventh house, something to do with your relationships, contracts, partnerships is here coming to light, whether this is an end of a contract, whether this is generally some kind of matter that needs to be addressed, resolved during this time, completed, whatever it is here, your relationships are really, really highlighted at this time. We've got a square to Uranus in Taurus as well in your 10th house. Perhaps your career dynamics might shift unexpectedly in an unforeseen way, surprising way. So overall, this is a time to communicate openly and as clearly as you can. This is not a time to take shortcuts. Things need to be clear, transparent, and just go with the flow, because generally this is a time when the energies are slightly erratic, and perhaps your plans might change unexpectedly around these days, around the full moon. And in order to just go with the flow and adapt and move on, it is necessary to approach these energies with an open mind. Now, at the same time, remember to balance your personal life and your career priorities. Thank you very much, Leos, and let's move into Virgos. Hello, Virgos, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees of Leo. So here, this energy is connected to new beginnings, fresh intentions, fresh energies. Leo rules over your 12th house. So the energies are hidden. There's a lot of behind the scenes work when the new moon is activated in the sign of, well, the sign that is before our ascendant. At the same time, Leo season for you is a season here, especially with Mercury Retrograde, your chart ruler. There's a lot of introspective energy connected to withdrawal, contemplation. If you feel like being alone, spending time contemplating, reassessing, reevaluating your life, then that's fine, because you might actually need this sort of time to truly understand the next phase of your life that is about to begin. Remember, we've got this major eclipse starting in this brand new cycle, which will be especially highlighted next year. So we've got a new moon in the 12th house, lots of spiritual behind the scenes work, energy that is also allowing you, because we've got a sextile to Mars, sextile to Jupiter. So there's a lot of optimism, enthusiasm, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So whether you're implementing some new healthy habits, whether you're implementing healthy boundaries between yourself and other people moving forward, whether you're creating a brand new reality for yourself, the opportunities are endless here. This is the Leo energy, which is playful and fun, bold, courageous, theatrical. So it's also a great time for working on anything of a creative, artistic nature as well. But I think for many Virgos, this could be about implementing positive changes in order to improve your mental state, mental well-being as well. Now, here we've got also on the same day, Mercury, your chart ruler, will station retrograde in the sign of Leo, in the sign of Virgo first, and then it will shift into Leo, into your 12th house. So here, the first house retrograde is all about you, your goals, your objectives. So you, during this time, you will be reassessing your goals, your objectives. This is a time to take a closer look and see whether your plans align with their reality, whether they are achievable at this point in your life. Because if they aren't, then this is a time, a great time for implementing the necessary adjustments. Now, during this time, you might be also reconnecting with people you haven't spoken to or seen for quite some time. This is also a great time for returning to goals, projects, ideas from the past, especially those that perhaps you didn't have a chance to complete, fulfill, but now it feels like the time is right. Now, remember, since Mercury is your chart ruler, very often when Mercury is retrograde, you might be going through a period of withdrawal, contemplation, and maybe it might be difficult at times to express yourself fully, or generally it might be, you might find it difficult at times to articulate your thoughts. So if this is the case, then pause, slow down. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to slow down and just stop constantly rushing. So here, take this as an opportunity, this retrograde. I think it's happening in interesting houses that will allow you to truly reassess your reality, present reality, your values, your principle, life principles. But at the same time, when Mercury is retrograde in Leo in your 12th house in the second part of August, this is a great time for reassessing your fears, your phobias, and any blockages and limitations there might be in your life that are generally harming your mental well-being, that are stopping you from moving forward, for example. Right, so between the 13th and the 18th, Mars and Saturn will square each other. This time around, this cycle started in your 7th house, so your personal relationships, one-to-one connections, contracts. Every major tense connection between these two planets within this cycle will trigger the important angular houses in your chart. So this will be the 10th, the 1st, and the 4th. This conjunction started in your area of relationships. The first square is happening between the 10th house and the 7th house. So there's a clash of energy between your worldly achievements, between your ambitious approach to work, to moving forward with your life. And there are some blockages coming from another person, someone perhaps blocking you, restricting your freedom, and demotivating you in some way. Right, so this energy is from the 13th to the 18th. And overall, this could, on the one hand, bring a certain degree of dissatisfaction with your life, with your worldly achievements, with your career, perhaps with your career professional related projects, delays as well. But on the other hand, there could be also tension and conflict in these one-to-one connections. So I think it's really important during this time to communicate as openly, honestly as you can in order to avoid any misunderstandings. If you see that that a conflict is about to emerge, maybe step back in order for it not to escalate into something more tense or disruptive. So this is all about staying consistent, staying patient, determined. If an obstacle emerges, a blockage, something or someone standing in the way, blocking the ability for you to move forward, then with determination, with persistence, you can get through. Now, at the same time, Saturn rules over your 5th house. And with this in mind, for some Virgos, this could be temporary creative blockages. Perhaps maybe you will have to dedicate extra time to reach a certain objective, a goal, to complete a certain project. You might have to be patient with yourself, and it might not be as easy as usual, perhaps, to be as detail oriented under that Mercury retrograde influence, and also Mars and Saturn square. Now, at the same time, this could also indicate a potential clash of energies between yourself and your romantic partner, or a certain degree of challenges related to your parenting style children. Now, the final event of this month that I wanted to cover is a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees. So that late degree indicates that something is coming to an end in the area ruled by Aquarius in your chart. So where is this area? Is your sixth house, your lifestyle, your work, your health, your skills. Something is being highlighted in this regard. Think about what you started in your work sphere, in your routine area of life, maybe something to do with your skills, for instance. What did you initiate in January, February 2023 during that new moon in Aquarius? Here, this full moon will bring these energies back to the surface. The 27th degree of Aquarius indicate that feeling of running out of time, that feeling of impatience, that feeling that, well, now or never feeling overall. So see how this will play out in your life based on your own personal experiences and personal placement, but from a more general perspective, here with a full moon in the sixth, I think lifestyle changes could be on the horizon. I would think you'll be readjusting, changing your routine, your daily life will be, I think you'll be implementing some changes into how your daily life is structured. I think you might be more aware, more conscious about your diets, the food that you eat, you put into your body. Maybe this is about your skills that need updating, or perhaps you've learned new skills, but you never had a chance to truly use them or take advantage of them, for instance. Now, bear in mind, we've got a square to Uranus in Taurus at this time. It's not just a full moon in your sixth house. We also have this really tense square into your ninth house. So what this means is that this could mean generally potential disruption to travel to your work environment, for example. Generally, this is a time when you will have to just go with the flow, because perhaps your plans might have to change in the last minute. If you have to travel to an important appointment, or perhaps if you're traveling abroad, leave early, be prepared. This is about being prepared for things to take a different turn. So plan for flexibility, especially when it comes to travel, especially when it comes to your work or any educational pursuits. I think this is also connected to personal growth and development, and perhaps if there is something that was blocking your ability to find that inner power, maybe the circumstances that emerge around this full moon will prompt you to take a different approach to how you live your life, or perhaps could change your perspective of reality to a certain extent. Thank you very much. Hello Libras, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th at 12 degrees of Leo. So here, a new moon is about new beginnings, a great time for setting new intentions for yourself, for your life. This is your 11th house in your chart. So I think many Libras will be here creating new goals, new objectives for themselves. But at the same time, I think this is about new friendships, or perhaps you joining new groups, new communities. There's a lot of fresh energy. And actually, this new moon is very interesting because we've got a sextile to Jupiter, a sextile to Mars. So really fruitful energies that help you to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So this could indicate some positive developments in your social circles when it comes to group activities, teamwork. Leo is connected to leadership energy. Maybe you will become a leader of a certain group, a certain organization. Maybe this is about you creating your own tribe. This is overall a great time for networking with like-minded individuals, setting new goals, objectives that inspire you, that align your vision for the future. Now, also on the same day, Mercury will station retrograde in the sign of Virgo, and then it will move into Leo. So between the 4th of August until the 28th of August, Mercury will be retrograde. This is your 12th house and your 11th house, so your subconscious mind, the hidden aspects of your life, and the area of groups, friendship. So first of all, when Mercury is retrograde in your 12th house, there's a lot of introspective energy that is prompting you to reevaluate many aspects of your life, whether this is your relationships, your work, your mental health, any fears, phobias, blockages, limitations you might be experiencing that generally stand in the way towards personal growth, personal development. They will likely come up and show up during this time. It's a great time for finding solutions to these hidden problems that you are experiencing, but perhaps you don't really have time to truly think about them on everyday basis. Now, at the same time, when Mercury is retrograde in Leo in your 11th house, so you might be reconnecting with friends you haven't seen for quite some time. But I think that you will be also reevaluating your social circle, your stand within your social circle as well. There could be miscommunication or some misunderstandings with some friends, perhaps. Sometimes when Mercury is retrograde in the social houses, some people kind of, temporarily disappear from our lives and they reappear straight after the retrograde is over. This is often the case, so don't take it personally if you see that perhaps some people will temporarily lose touch with you. Maybe they need some time to think things through. Maybe they are going through a period of introspection, withdrawal, for example. Now, between the 13th and the 18th of the month, Mars and Saturn will square each other. So this cycle that began in April in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces, that's your 6th house of everyday work, routine. And here we've got the very first square in this cycle. There will be another square when Mars moves into Sagittarius next year, and then opposition will occur when Mars will be in Virgo. But here, this is just the beginning of this cycle, and this cycle will be for 2 years. So overall, in 2024 and 2026, I think you will be making some big changes in your routine, daily life, and they have already begun when Saturn entered your 6th house anyway. But here, with every time Mars and Saturn connect, especially here, I'm talking about these tense energies, there is a chance for kind of reinventing this area of your life. With Mars and Saturn square, you might experience temporary delays at your work, or perhaps could be connected to miscommunication with colleagues or people that from your immediate environment, everyday environment. Maybe you will have to implement the necessary changes in your daily life to simplify your routine. Maybe you feel like there aren't enough hours in the day to fulfill all your tasks and duties, and the time has come to maybe drop a few activities, or maybe you have to shift things around in order to make sure that you don't get to the point of a burnout. Now, at the same time, Saturn rules over your area of home and family dynamics. That's where Capricorn is present. So I think this is also a time when domestic responsibilities, family dynamics might be a little bit challenging. This is when a home-related or family-related issue might surface, and you will have to find practical solutions as they emerge. It's all about being practical and strategic in your thinking without generally pushing things aside. Overall, this is a chance to build a stable routine, a stable home environment, and at the same time approach any family-related issues with diplomacy, where possible, of course. And the final event for the month is a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees of Aquarius. Aquarius, that's your 5th house in your birth chart, so the area of creativity, romance, children, self-expression, the inner child. And this full moon comes with a little surprise because it will square Uranus in Taurus in your 8th house of transformation, regeneration, joint and shared resources. as well. So here, first of all, this full moon is connected to the cycle that started in January, February 2023. So think about what you started, initiated in the area of romance, in the area of self-expression. Maybe this could be about your children. So whatever the scenario here, this full moon is at 27 degrees. So there is this feeling of having to complete something before it's too late. There's this now or never feeling connected to urgency, connected to that feeling of running out of time. Now, with the square to Uranus and Taurus, this is about things taking a sudden, unexpected turn. The reason for that is because with Uranus, very often we don't expect things to happen so quickly, or perhaps the situation is very premature. We're not fully yet, we don't fully understand it yet. And here it feels very sudden, it feels very surprising. So whatever the scenario here, creative projects, romantic relationships might generally experience this sudden shift. Perhaps this could be about some financial changes connected to any investments you may have made in the past, or anything to do with inheritance, or any money that you received from the government. At the same time, this could also mean that perhaps your romantic partner will be going through unexpected financial changes, and they will directly impact your relationship as well. This could be very much the case. Now, at the same time, this could be about the completion of a major project that you've been working on. Maybe you're moving it to the next stage, to the next level. Here, it really depends on your circumstances, but this is the time to generally approach this full moon with an open mind, flexibility and adaptability, because things might take a very different turn in the very last minute. All right, so let's have a look at Scorpios now. Hello, Scorpios, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August, and this is happening at 12 degrees of Leo. So here, Leo, this is your 10th house. Whenever there is a new moon or a full moon in the 10th house, it's actually really exciting, because this means that there's an opportunity for making progress, for making a difference. And with a new moon, this is about something brand new, fresh, and exciting. Now, of course, it might not be huge for those who's got their MC in a different sign to Leo. Mine is in a Virgo, for example. So if this is the case for you as well, then the next new moon could be also significant for your career. And this could be just the beginning around this new moon, with some new beginnings, intentions, but whatever it is here, in whole signs, Scorpios have got their new moon happening in their 10th house. So new goals, objectives, plans, goals connected to your professional goals and career advancements. And also, we've got a sextile to Mars, sextile to Jupiter. So there's a lot of energizing energy that really motivates you to move forward. And there's an energy of expansion that makes you want to reach the stars, so to speak. So opportunities generally for being recognized for your work, for your achievements. Maybe this is about some new changes you want to implement to your business, or perhaps this could be about professional development courses. And overall, the sextile to Mars and Jupiter can bring a lot of positivity to your professional life, to the developments in your professional life more specifically. So a great chance overall to make the necessary adjustments in your career in order to reach your goals and objectives. Now, on the same day, Mercury will station retrograde in the sign of Virgo. Now, this retrograde will last until the 28th of August, and it will end in the sign of Leo. So initially, Mercury will be in Virgo, and then it will move into the sign of Leo. All right, so here, Leo, that's your 10th house, so we've already discussed it. And Virgo, this is your 11th house. So this retrograde starts in your friendship area, long-term goals, hopes, dreams, and plans, and then it will move into your area of your career and professional life. Now, every time Mercury is retrograde overall, this could indicate potential transportation delays. It's not a good time for signing any paperwork or documents. Of course, if you have to, life goes on, but make sure you check all the small print, terms and condition. If you lack clarity, then ask questions. This is definitely a time to ask questions. Don't make any assumptions. If something isn't clear, then clarify that, because otherwise this can generally lead to disappointment once you find out that what you thought was right, maybe it's not. Now, at the same time here, when it comes to your career, I think you'll be reviewing your career, where you're heading with your career, whether you're satisfied, whether you're not satisfied. This is a chance for you to maybe gain a better understanding why you are not satisfied. What is blocking your progress if you're not seeing any substantial results when it comes to your work, career progress, and so on. So that's the retrograde, which will be in the second part of August in Leo. Now, when it comes to the initial phase of the retrograde from the 4th of August, that's your friendships, groups that you belong to. And I think for some, this could be about maybe rejoining some communities, groups. And I think this is also related to taking a closer look at the people in your life, friends, acquaintances. A great time for really realizing who is your friend, who you want in your reality, and perhaps who has a negative influence upon your life and well-being. Because negative people who drag you down, they will block your progress. Speaking from my own experience. Now, here we've got Mars and Saturn square between the 13th and the 18th of the month, and it will be exact on the 16th. So Mars and Saturn conjoined in Pisces in April, and this is the very first square in this brand new cycle, which will last roughly 2 years. So here, every time there is this tense square or opposition, it will occur in the mutable signs. So here, Mars and Saturn square, the very first square of this cycle. Where is Mars in Gemini in your chart? It is the 8th house, and that's where Mars is present. So bear in mind, with Mars in Gemini in August, your expenses might increase. So generally watch your budget, what you're spending. So Mars is in your 8th house, and it will square Saturn in Pisces in your 5th house. So we've got this immediately tells me that this could affect that ability to express yourself authentically and confidently. Maybe there could be someone who makes you feel like you don't know enough about a certain project, or perhaps this could be about someone or something standing in the way, blocking your progress. Maybe this could be about insufficient finances, which could be the reason for you not being able to progress with a certain project, goal, idea, for example. Now, Saturn rules over your 3rd house, so also really be careful with communication and try to avoid people who can generally have a negative impact upon your mental health, well-being, or overly critical, because it might actually affect you quite badly. Maybe if you feel or see that someone doesn't fully agree with your opinion, or there's a clash of personalities, this sort of things, maybe step back in order to avoid conflict and tension. Overall, during this time, the 13th to 18th, try to communicate as openly and clearly as you can. There could be potential conflicts with siblings for some, or perhaps potential delays when it comes to travel. So also leave early, prepare. It's all about being flexible and adaptable, but also prepared for things to take a different turn. So if you can, plan your trips carefully and be prepared for potential delays. Now we end the month with a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees of Aquarius. A full moon in Aquarius. So Aquarius, this is your 4th house. Your family dynamics are highlighted. Think about what you started, what you initiated last year around end of January, beginning of February. This is when we had that new moon in the sign of Aquarius. And now there's a full moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees. So that late degree of a full moon indicates that feeling of running out of time, that feeling of impatience, that feeling that now or never feeling overall. So I think a matter that you've been dealing with connected to your home and family dynamics has reached its peak and needs to be resolved in some way. Bear in mind, it's not just a straightforward full moon. We have a square to Uranus in Taurus at this time as well, which is in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So at this point, we've got a full moon in the 4th house, the house that is connected to our home and family dynamics. So generally here, this is definitely connected to finding more emotional stability, security, at your home, with your family members. But at the same time, there is a clash of energies with the seventh house. So whether this is your house contract, whether this is about your landlord, whether this is about your partner, disagreeing with you about a certain opinion, a goal, objective connected to your home, or whether this is something else. You will see how this will play out in your life. But overall, expect unexpected developments in the area of home and family dynamics. There could be potential tension in your personal relationships, potential conflicts, or perhaps breakthroughs. So here the advice for this full moon is to concentrate on creating a stable home environment at this time, instead of maybe getting involved in arguments or some conflicting conversations. Try to redirect your energies and focus on stability, consistency at your home, comfort. Communicate as clearly as you can, but at the same time, be prepared for some change of dynamics, so maybe differences in opinions with in relationships, partnerships. Maybe this is a time to also try to meet halfway, compromise. All right, so here we go, Scorpios. Thank you very much, and let's move into Sagittarius. Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your horoscope for August 2024. All right, so we start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees. So here, a new moon is about new beginnings, an opportunity for starting something fresh and new in your area of foreign travel, foreign people, life direction. Now, what I actually have seen people do during the ninth house activation is there is this strong need connected to self-growth, activities related to self-growth, self-development. So you might very well enjoy engaging in workshops, activities, books, webinars that can help you to perhaps redefine your life philosophy, your beliefs as well, rewire your beliefs. This has been quite popular these days, and you might actually enjoy this sort of activity. At the same time, perhaps you're planning to become a coach, a spiritual coach, or a teacher. There could be also this need for absorbing knowledge and for expanding your knowledge overall. Travel is also emphasized. We've got a sextile to Mars and Jupiter as well. So opportunities for travel, for learning, for expanding your horizons are definitely here the case. And overall, with that new moon energy, it's a great time for enrolling on a new course of study, something that could generally help you to broaden your wisdom, knowledge, horizons, and so on. And since on the same day also Mercury will station retrograde, maybe this is about returning to a goal idea that perhaps you didn't have a chance to fulfill in the past. Now, so Mercury will start its retrograde on the 4th of August until the 28th. It will start in Virgo, and then it will Mercury will shift into Leo. While Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Virgo, you will be reassessing and reviewing your career, your professional life, worldly achievements, if there is some kind of dissatisfaction in this area of life, if there is some kind of unfulfillment in this area of life, then it will come up and show up during this retrograde phase. And overall, it's a really great time for taking a closer look at your achievements, at your worldly achievements, objectives, and this could be a time of introspection to a certain extent, but at the same time, this is about implementing practical solutions for you to move forward with your outside world, with your career life, for example. Anything brand new around this time might be delayed and generally might take a long time to take off. So if you can, try to deal with what is already familiar, what you are familiar with, for instance. But at the same time, you might be also reconnecting with people you have worked with in the past. It's a great time for reconnecting with others, especially when it comes to your career world. Now, here in the second part of August, Mercury retrograde will shift into Leo, into your ninth house. So at this point, you might be reassessing, reviewing the intentions you set for yourself during the new moon in Leo that occurred at the beginning of August. And I think this is also about taking a closer look at your life philosophy, at your life principles, at your beliefs. You might be implementing a certain degree of changes, especially if some of these beliefs, some of your beliefs, your life philosophy, perhaps if they don't align with your persona, then perhaps this is a time to move away from old patterns. Now, at the same time, I think you might be also questioning your purpose around this time. So here again, a great time for engaging in workshops, webinars, maybe conducting your own research to truly understand yourself on a deeper level. Between the 13th and the 18th of August, Saturn and Mars will connect by a tense energy square, a square. Now, this cycle started back in April, and this is the very first square in this brand new cycle between Mars and Saturn. Here, the next square, which will be next year, will be in the sign of Sagittarius, and an opposition will be in Virgo. Let's first see where this is happening for you, because this is significant, and also what area of life rules Capricorn. So here, as a Sagittarius rising, Capricorn rules over your second house. So this immediately tells me that for some Sagittarius, it could be about a certain degree of delays, dissatisfaction, when it comes to your income, financial situation, especially since at this time also we have Mercury retrograde now in your 10th house as this square occurs. So there you're not satisfied with your income situation, with your financial situation, then Mercury retrograde is fantastic for reassessing, reviewing your career stand at this point. So there could be delays, there could be a certain degree of dissatisfaction that may come up with these. It's a square, I'm afraid, so there will be some tension. Now, at the same time, Mars is transiting your 7th house in August, and Saturn is currently in Pisces in your 4th house. So overall, I think maybe there are some expenses that you have to deal with connected to your home. Maybe this is about having these important conversations with your landlord, with your significant other, about the home-related situation. Whatever it is, this square could be about budgeting, financial planning, which could become really, really crucial around this time. So it's a really important time to review, reassess your financial situation. This is about taking a closer look at emotional and financial security and stability in your life. If there are some blockages, gaps, something is missing, something isn't working right, then here during this square, during this cycle overall, you will be working on improving this situation in your life. But at the same time, this is also a chance for you to reflect on your values and ensure that they align with your actions. The final event for the month is a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees. So a very late degree of Aquarius or any lunation indicates that feeling of running out of time and that feeling of impatience, a certain degree of crisis as well. Now, think about what happened in your life, and that's more specifically here in your area of communication, social interactions, siblings, immediate environment. What happened in this area? What's new began in this area of life around the end of June, beginning of February? This is significant because it may play an important role during this full moon, of course, especially if you have any placements at around that late degree of Aquarius or a Leo more specifically. So this full moon is happening in your 3rd house. Maybe this is about a culmination, the end of a certain project or a course that you've been working on for the last 18 months. At the same time, this full moon could be connected to your siblings. Maybe they are going through some major changes and they will need your support. Now, this doesn't end here because this full moon will square Uranus in Taurus in your 6th house. So clearly, this could be also related to some lifestyle changes, changes connected to your routine daily life, work environment that will need your attention around this time. So overall here, there could be some unexpected breakthroughs, for example, that will prompt you to implement the necessary changes to your daily routine, into your daily life overall. But at the same time, I think this is also a time when you will have to plan in advance when it comes to travel, when it comes to having an important meeting or appointment, because under that Uranian influence, things can happen unexpectedly out of the blue. Very often the change is necessary. That's why Uranus is here to push things forward and through for us. But the situation might be premature and we might react slightly surprised. But I think for many Sagittarius risings could be about potential lifestyle routine changes coming up in the very near future here. All right, so let's look at Capricorns now. Capricorns, welcome. Hello, Capricorns, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees of Leo. Leo is connected to bold, courageous, playful, theatrical, inspiring energy, and this is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house deals with shared and joint resources, money that is not connected to our regular monthly or weekly income, but rather any bonuses, commissions, money that we get through investments, stock market, for example, inheritance as well. This is the area of transformation as well, of course, death and rebirth, regeneration. And new moon is about new beginnings. And we've got a beautiful sextile to both Jupiter and Mars. So lots of positivity in the air, beautiful energy. Mercury will also station retrograde on the same day. So you might also be returning to certain goals, projects, ideas from the past. But overall, this new moon could indicate positive changes in the area of shared and joint resources, for example, or finances. This new moon also positively influences your intimate relationship. Perhaps this is about a new person also entering your life in the very near future, a new connection with someone generally with whom you could blend on a soul-like level. Or perhaps this could be also related to business partnerships, for instance. Overall, here, this new moon brings a lot of deep and transformative energy. It's a great time for finding spark in the area of life that lost its spark and purpose. You can really reinvent yourself. There's a lot of depth to this house, to this area of your chart. Overall, this is a great new moon for embracing these transformative energies that can help you or that can lead to personal growth and development. Now, also on the same day, Mercury will station retrograde in the sign of Virgo on the 4th, and it will move into Leo in the middle of the month, and this retrograde will end on the 28th of August in the sign of Leo. So we've got two houses, two signs activated, and this is the area of your 9th house and the area of your 8th house where Leo is present. So here with the retrograde in your 9th house, I think you will be questioning your purpose in your life on this planet. I think many Capricorns will be questioning generally their choices, the choices that they made in the past. And I think this could be also trying to figure out if your current reality aligns with your beliefs, aligns with your life philosophy. So I think this is a great time for redefining your beliefs, redefining your life philosophy if you feel like it doesn't align with where you're heading with your life, for example, especially since Pluto is now moving back and forth between your first and second house, but it will move away from your sign very, very soon. And this is a huge deal because Pluto stays in a sign for a very long time, as long as 20 years sometimes, or over a decade in the Capricorn's case scenario. So I think you might be questioning your purpose, redefining your beliefs, rewiring your beliefs in some way as well. This is a journey towards personal growth in many, many ways. Maybe you will be also returning to some studies that you didn't fulfill or complete in the past. When Mercury moves into your 8th house, on the other hand, this isn't a good time for making any major investments or any risky investments, especially because Mercury is retrograde. So very often we lack clarity, or it's difficult to see things through the true colors. So if you can, try to avoid making any financial risks. But I think this is also about reviewing your personal, intimate relationship. This is about taking a closer look at any blockages, limitations, limiting beliefs, fears, phobias. This is the house of depth, which I mentioned earlier. So you are able to connect with your inner self on a really deep level, and at the same time heal any mental energies that perhaps are blocking your ability to move forward, for instance. All right, so moving forward between the 13th and the 18th, Mars and Saturn will connect by a square. Squares represent tense energy, tension overall. And here with Saturn, it's all about finding these practical solutions, not pushing things to the side, because they will keep coming back. Mars is currently transiting your sixth house of everyday routine, duties, responsibilities, work environment, well-being, and health. And Saturn is transiting your third house of Pisces. So communication and learning, mental energy here is influenced by this transit. So what it is that, of course, Saturn is your ruler as well. So you'll be directly impacted, especially by these conjunctions and oppositions and squares. So this could make you generally feel restricted or frustrated to a certain degree when it comes to expressing yourself. So communication could be slightly a bit of a struggle here between the 13th and the 18th. Communicate as openly and clearly as you can. If you feel like, you know, you're leading a conversation with someone who is on a very different page and has a very different mindset, it's better to just step back in order to wait for this conversation, debate to escalate to something more serious. Now, at the same time, there could be also some blockages, delays when it comes to reaching some of your objectives, goals. Maybe you have to deal with additional family or daily life related responsibilities, and you will have to temporarily delay some of your personal goals, or perhaps you won't have enough time. So you will need more time or extend your time frame when it comes to reaching certain personal goals, objectives. So it's all about being determined, patience, perseverance is key. But I think these are all Capricorn keywords. So you might actually be able to really take advantage of these energies and turn them into something really powerful. Overall focus on personal growth and discipline. And I think it's all about being also prepared for some unexpected delays when it comes to travel, transportation. So if you're traveling around this time, be prepared in advance, leave early, check what's happening around you on the road or on the way towards your destination. Now we end the month with a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th at 27 degrees of Aquarius. So here, that late degree of illumination gives us this feeling that we are running out of time. It's like a now or never feeling, a feeling of crisis as well to a certain extent. Now, think about what happened in your life around end of January, beginning of February 2023 in your area where Aquarius is present. So that's, of course, your second house here is highlighted, your financial security, stability. Maybe this is about a contract coming to an end or a project, for instance. Now, here we've got a square to Uranus in Taurus as well at this time. And here Taurus rules over your fifth house. So there could be a certain degree of financial instability or perhaps some changes when it comes to your personal values following this full moon. Now, there could be also a sudden shifts when it comes to your romantic relationships or perhaps some creative projects. So here with the energy of Uranus, it's essential to be prepared for things taking a slightly different turn. It's about being adaptable, flexible, but also it's not a good full moon for taking any major financial risks without being sure what you're actually getting yourself into. This is a great time for reassessing your financial strategy. Then align your strategy with your values, for example. An open mind will be really necessary to navigate the energies of this full moon. Thank you very much, Capricorns, and let's have a look at Aquarius. Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th of August at 12 degrees. So here, Leo, this is your seventh house, of course, the sun that opposes your first house. So here, a new moon is about new beginnings, an opportunity for starting something brand new in the area of one-to-one connections, reunions, partnerships. So whether this is a new person entering your life, a new connection, or perhaps whether you're signing a contract around this time, or perhaps if you making mutual plans with your significant other or someone significant in your life, you'll see how it will play out in your life. we've got lots of supportive energy at this time. We've got a sextile to Jupiter, we've got a sextile to Mars. So whatever that you start and you carry on with it, if you carry on with it, it can really lead to something great and meaningful, because this is the beginning of a brand new cycle, and these energies will be activated every 9 months. So overall here during this time, you can expect new developments in personal and professional connections, relationships. There could be also opportunities for enhancing existing connections, relationships. Maybe you're signing a new contract. Maybe this is about an interview, a collaboration, joining forces with another person, working on a mutual creative project. Whatever it is, this is a new moon that is also about working towards a mutual understanding with another person. It's about combining your energies with another person in a harmonious manner. Now, also on the 4th, we've got Mercury stationing retrograde. This retrograde will start in the sign of Virgo, and then Mercury will move into Leo, into your 7th house. So we start in the 8th house, and then in the second part of August, Mercury will move into your 7th house. So here with Mercury retrograde in your 8th house in the sign of Virgo, and this retrograde will last in Mercury retrograde overall will last between the 4th of August and the 28th of August. So here first Virgo, then Leo. And with the 8th house, this is generally an opportunity for you for reinventing yourself in a way that could lead to self-empowerment. This is the area of deep emotions, deep energy. So you're able to tap into your subconscious, and maybe this could be about hypnotherapy, working on your mindset, healing some negative emotions, energies, for example, freeing yourself from these more specifically. This retrograde might also make you reconnect with someone you haven't seen or heard from for quite some time. Overall, this retrograde, not just the 8th house retrograde. I think this is a great time for reassessing, reviewing your financial situation, budgeting as well, especially when it comes to any debts, loans, mortgages. It's a really good time. Now, you might be renewing your mortgage during this time. You might be reapplying for a loan, for instance. With the retrograde phase of Mercury, anything brand new usually takes a long time to take off. But if there is any money that is owned to you, but you still haven't received it, you might receive it when Mercury is retrograde. Now, when Mercury is retrograde in the 7th house in the area of relationships, a great time for working on these one-to-one relationship dynamics. Maybe this could be also connected to reconnecting with someone from the past, maybe an ex-romantic partner. Maybe you want to give your relationship a second chance. This is a great time also for renewing a contract, renewing, reassessing, reevaluating. So all these keywords are very much connected to Mercury retrograde. Now, between the 13th and the 18th, Mars and Saturn will connect by a tense square. The square will be at 17 degrees of Gemini and Pisces. Now, this cycle started in April 2024. So a few months ago, we started this brand new cycle in the sign of Pisces between Mars and Saturn. And these cycles reoccur every 2 years in different signs, depending where Saturn is present more specifically. And Saturn stays roughly 2.5 years in each sign. So we've got this current cycle in the mutable signs. Saturn is currently transiting your 2nd house of income, finances, resources, possessions, and Mars in Gemini is in your 5th house of romance, creativity, self-expression, and children. So here these two planets are going to square each other from the 13th to the 18th, but this square will be exact on the 16th of August. Is one of the most challenging aspects of August. And during this time, because of course Capricorn is on your 12th house cusp and Saturn rules over this area of life. So here your area of hidden matter, subconscious mind will be also affected. This could be a time of when you might experience some internal conflicts. Your subconscious fears, phobias, limitations might become more apparent during this time. And this could generally lead to a certain degree of isolation or withdrawal. Maybe you will need time to think things through, especially if perhaps your financial instability, for instance, or your relationships dynamics are negatively impacting your self-worth and self-esteem. Maybe you will need time to withdraw, reassess, recharge yourself to truly understand where is it that you stand with your life at the moment. I think this cycle is very much connected to your financial situation in many ways. I think this is about finding practical solutions that could help you to establish more financial security and stability in your life. It's a time for careful budgeting, financial planning. It's not a good time for taking any sudden, unexpected financial risks. But at the same time, I think maybe the time has come also to face some of your fears, some of your limitations, phobias, and see why they keep coming back, why they keep coming reappearing. How can you heal them? How can you move away from them? They could be blocking your ability to be your authentic self-expression. So these sort of things might come up, but it's an opportunity for you to face these limitations, these limiting thoughts, beliefs, and reinvent yourself. Replace them with empowering thoughts and beliefs. Now we end the month with a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of the month of August at 27 degrees. So that's your first house here is activated. Think about these brand new beginnings, realizations, intentions that you set for yourself at the end of January, beginning of February 2023. Something connected to your personal goals, ambitions, physical appearance, maybe your identity. This is all really, really highlighted at this time. Usually during a full moon, we move away from certain aspect of life that has fulfilled its purpose. I think for Aquarius rising, this could be about moving away from old patterns that no longer serve anymore, habits, routines. This is a chance to reinvent yourself and leave whatever is negative, not necessary, behind. Now, at the same time, we've got a square to Uranus in Taurus happening at this time as well in your fourth house. Uranus is connected to this unexpected erratic energy. Uranus is also your ruler. So I think this will definitely impact your personal identity, your ability to express yourself. Perhaps this could be challenged by external influences or another person. At the same time, there could be some unexpected developments taking place in your home life, family life as well. So maybe this is an opportunity to implement or to be open to new ways of expressing yourself in a more authentic way. Maybe the energies that you experience around this full moon will prompt you to implement the necessary changes in your emotional life and your home life, something generally that could help you to establish more stability and security, for example. All right, so thank you very much, Aquarius. And now let's have a look at Pisces. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to your August 2024 horoscope. We start with a new moon in Leo happening on the 4th at 12 degrees of Leo. So here, Leo, this is your sixth house. So we've got the sixth house activation as we begin the month, the area of your everyday routine, everyday duties, work environment, your skills, small pets, lifestyle, your lifestyle. A really fantastic new moon for implementing the necessary changes that perhaps are needed in this area of life to find more happiness, joy in your lifestyle, in your everyday routine. So here we've got a beautiful sextile to both Jupiter and Mars. There is that energizing vibe to this new moon, positivity, opportunities for growth, for implementing something fresh and new into your daily routine, something that could help you to move forward, maybe with some goals, objectives. Maybe you will be starting a new course of study, learning, perhaps improving your existing skills. Maybe this is about getting a new pet. Maybe this is about the brand new routine that will bring more fun, excitement into your daily life. Maybe this is about something creative, something that will help you to feel more courageous as well. And at the same time, this could be very much related to your work, finding a healthier balance between your work and private life, for instance. But whatever it is, there's a chance for some positive new beginnings that could improve your daily life, daily routine. So lifestyle changes, generally speaking. Also on the same day, we've got Mercury station in retrograde in the sign of Virgo on the 4th, and it will end in the sign of Leo on the 28th of August. Here with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, you might be reconnecting with people from the past, people you haven't seen or heard from for quite some time. It's very often the case. It's a great time for renewing contracts. Maybe you will be renewing your work contract during this time. Maybe this is about also reviewing, reassessing your partnerships, your relationships, your connections where you have with other people. If something, if generally there has been some instability in your life, in these one-to-one connections, they will come up and show up. And perhaps you will want to address them during this time. At the same time, I think this is also when you'll be thinking deeply and carefully about your connections in your life, those close bonds with other people. And see, maybe you will be seeing them from a very different light. Now, here when Mercury moves into your 6th house, on the other hand, this is about reviewing your daily life, daily routine, any potential intentions you set for yourself, for your life during the new moon in Leo on August the 4th. But I think this is also when perhaps for some Pisces rising, this could be a time when you generally have to multitask a lot. And I think that you might have to dedicate more time to some specific projects, especially the ones that require analytical thinking, patience, strategic planning, because Mercury is retrograde here. So you might be prepared for having to redo certain paperwork, documents, double check everything, double check emails before you send them so that you don't send half of the text, or perhaps that you don't send something that was just supposed to be a draft. Now, between the 13th and the 18th of August, Mars and Saturn will connect by a tense square. Now, this square will be exact on the 16th at 17 degrees of Gemini, 17 degrees of Pisces. Saturn is in your 1st house. Gemini, that's your 4th house. So here we've got a square between the 1st and the 4th house at this time. So here we've got a square tense energy. Now, this cycle started in your 1st house in April. And every time Mars and Saturn will connect either by a square opposition in the next 2 years while this cycle lasts, they will reoccur in the mutable houses. So your 1st, your 4th, your 7th, and the 10th. So the next 2 years are really, really important for you to generally bring more stability, and you will be restructuring these important areas of your life over the course of the next 2 years, starting from April 2024. So overall, this could mean that perhaps you might have to face some obstacles, delays when it comes to some home-related projects. Now, at the same time, I think this could also indicate that there could be some clashing energies, conflicts in the area of your friendships, connections you have with other people, because let's not forget Capricorn rules over your 11th house. So when Saturn is triggered by other planets, especially by squares, oppositions, this can negatively impact also your friendships overall. So I think this square will make you very realistic about your goals. So you might be redefining, restructuring your goals, your objectives for the future. But at the same time, you might be very realistic about your social connections, and you might see things through very different colors. And if you see that someone is being dishonest, doesn't belong in your reality, it will become more apparent in the month of August. Maybe you will be shifting away from this certain connection and closing some chapters in this regard as well. So this is a time when you will have to make really wise decisions connected to your personal life, your home dynamics more specifically, because Mars will be challenged by Saturn. While things may have been going quickly in a dynamic way recently in the home area, there could have been some eruptions with that Martian energy. When Mars clashes with Saturn, suddenly there is a blockage, obstacle, and something that could generally affect your identity, your persona, your ability to be your authentic self. Maybe there is something or someone in the home sphere that is kind of blocking you in some way. This is generally a time to focus on realistic goals, but at the same time, it's about finding practical solutions to any obstacles that emerge that will be affecting your emotional well-being and could be very much connected to a situation that could emerge at your home with a family member, for example. Now we end the month with a full moon in Aquarius happening on the 19th of August at 27 degrees. So that's your 12th house. Now, a late degree of a full moon indicates that energy of impatience, that feeling that you're running out of time, now or never feeling, a feeling of a crisis to a certain extent. I think for many Aquarius, this is about dealing with a specific private matter. I think this is about having to face some of your fears and maybe even limitations. There is a lot of energy that is pushing you to move away from old patterns, old habits, anything that negatively contributes to that your inner world, your inner reality. Now, bear in mind that we've got a square to Uranus in Taurus happening as well in your third house. So communication is definitely here triggered, and there could be potential disruptions in communication, in transportation. So plan carefully, pack in advance if you have to, check if there are any roadworks, delays on the way to your destination. But at the same time, with the 12th house energies, perhaps some subconscious patterns or some hidden issues may surface around this time. So a really important time to engage in introspection, to find some peace and quiet, to think things through. It's not a good time for making any rash decisions, impulsive decisions. At the same time, this full moon is really great for healing, for moving away from old patterns, any misconceptions you may have about yourself, about your ability to achieve your goals, your objectives. This is a great time also to engage in a spiritual practices, so meditation or yoga, spending time in nature. The energies are really erratic around this time, and this full moon could potentially disrupt your sleeping pattern. So I think you need to surround yourself with positive people, positive experiences, maybe a nice relaxing bath as well. And you need that time alone to think deeply about your inner reality in order to make better decisions moving forward, but at the same time, stay open, flexible as much as you can, especially since you are a mutable sign, so it should be pretty straightforward. But thank you very much, Pisces. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this forecast. Have a good month, have a productive month. Until the next time, bye for now.